success had a lot to do with Danny and Stanley and Jamel, really
Yep.
multiple guys stepping up. But I'm wondering, did Jeff need to be that number 2 option this year to make this run possible?
Yeah, no question. We sat down with guys in the summer. You map out what you have coming back, you map out number of points, number of rebounds, and you get to a number, and you got to get that number higher. And so you have to ask guys to do a little more on what you're capable of doing. You never want to ask a guy to do something he's not capable of doing. It's not fair. I can't ask somebody to be a shot blocker, and that's not what they do. I can't ask guys to do something. But I've always thought that Jeff is talented enough that he can go from 7-8 points to 12-15 points. You can get there, and you can go from this amount of rebounds to this amount of rebounds. And it was very important for him to get there and understand that. And I think the biggest part from him was just moving on. Just you make a mistake, just move on. Don't worry about it. Just I make 100 mistakes a day. And I'm not afraid to make the next one though. It doesn't matter to me. I just make the next one. And that's what I told him. You just got to play. Don't worry about it. And he's much better at that, and is much freer. I don't know if that's a great word or not, but he just plays so much free, and it's been fun to see the maturation of him over the year. He was very good in the tournament.
For as positive as making the tournament was, you were disappointed with the game yesterday. Does that provide a little ammo going into?
Yeah, I told him I was disappointed. I didn't think the second half. I thought Deeper hit a big 3 before the half. He was guarded. It was a tough shot. But I thought the last 10 minutes. And I know guys, assistants are killing me. We're coach. It's the 4th one in 4 days. We don't we're kind of running on empty. But we still got to do the things that we do. We got to take care of the ball. We got to get good shots. We got to defend them a little bit better. You can always push. There's always there's always different rungs in a ladder you can get to. You want to climb so high. There's a few more rungs you can get to. Just got to push and prod a little bit harder. But Ohio State's a very good basketball team. They're very, very good. You saw them in person. They're fast, they're quick, they're strong. They got guys who can score, and they defend you. I think that's the most impressive thing that maybe people don't talk about as much. They talk about the big guy, Zero inside. He's a very talented young man, an excellent player. But they guard you, and they come after you, and they do a good job of guarding you.
Hey, on those 59 minutes back, did you give yourself a minute or two to kind of reflect on what you've accomplished?
I did it after the selection show with our staff a little bit. But to me, it always, as I said, Coach, let it go. I mean, it always came back to the game, second half of the Ohio State game for me. I just wanted to play a little bit better. Once we went in the air, it was all about what we were going to try to do today. Kurt was sitting next to me, and my film guy DJ was sitting across from him, and Danny was behind me, and Danny has the scout. So it was about what Temple was doing, and had them pull numbers. I had numbers on the plane. So after we found out who we played, they got to a printer and computer and pulled Temple stats for us to look at on the way home.
Well, last year, everything that could have possibly gone wrong for the most part went wrong for this team. How much has this team grown from last year, and did that maybe fuel them, and did they maybe even need that just to turn on a switch?
Yeah, everything did go wrong for us. But I think the year before helped us too. I think the kids that Jamel and Danny and Stanley and their leadership the year before, making the NIT run was very, very important. The focus we had in New York, in the sense that, hey, we had to play, and the next day play again. That was the next day, whatever, play a day later, and that was really important for us. The leadership those guys showed, and focus and energy was important. Sometimes. Last year everything went bad, and I think hopefully these guys appreciate what they've been able to accomplish this year. And I think this year's team was, not that last year's team didn't do it. We tried to keep grinding them and focus. It's just sometimes the ball bounces a funny way. You don't get a roll you need to have. Hopefully those things even out over a year. Last year we didn't get many even outs. We were sort of on a on a downward slope at all times. But the impressive thing about this team was we had some tough days. We lost some games that we thought we could win, but they kept their nose, to the grindstone and kept good focus. And what are all those cliches? One day at a time. The next game is the biggest game. They did a good job of embracing what we were selling to them.
How much different were they, though? I mean, it's pretty much the same roster for the most part between last
It's a
year.
year of maturity. It's a year of growth. You're not the same person you were last year. Hopefully, you've grown a little bit, got a little smarter, and the life experiences that you have. You've had some setbacks, and okay, here's how we deal with them. Now here's how we're going to deal with them this year. You get a little smarter. I think that's part of life. You can if you go somewhere for the first time, it takes you a certain amount of time. If you go back to the same place a second time, you get there a little quicker because you know where you're going. And so hopefully we had some good direction this year. The kids knew where they were going.
You said you've heard from Jamel and
Good enough.
Have a doctor's appointment.
That's more important. Let me know how that goes.
you said you've heard from Jamel and some others from the NIT team. Have you heard from Joe Crispin, Jerry Dunn? Have some of those guys reached out and congratulated you?
Not really. I didn't expect to. Alums are getting emails and stuff from people, but there's a stack of stuff up there, so I didn't have any gone through a stack that Pam has up there yet, just because I got other stuff I got to do.
Take a couple questions from the phone line. Dave, you want to start again?
Yeah, it's Joe Vento from South City Press.
Okay, Joe, go ahead.
Come on, Joe. How you doing?
Hey, Joe, how are
Wait a
you?
minute, Joe. Hey. Okay. Hang on. Ed,
Yes.
how do you know what to do with Scooty Randall? It's such a weird situation because he's not going to have played in a month, but they say he's well. What kind of Scooty are you preparing for this?
Well, Danny's trying to put some stuff together right now, Dave. I think my gut is that he'll probably play. And
I think he's playing, but
yeah. My gut is
he won't be up to game speed, maybe, or maybe he will. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that either. I can't control that. I can control what we're going to try to do on our end. If he's in the game, we'll try to guard him. And I know he hasn't played in the last 7, I think, or something like that. But I think he was. The rumor is he was well enough to play in the A-10 tournament. Maybe just hold him out. But we expect that he will play, and so we're trying to put some pieces together for that as well.
Joe, go ahead.
Go ahead, Joe. Okay. Hey, Dave, just tell me what your recollections are thinking back to your last time in the NCAA tournament.
I'm an old guy, Joe. I don't know if I can remember that far back. Well, that was what East Tennessee State with Gerald and Zaki and Timmy Smith and those kids. Great group of players. Fun group to be around. Really a fun group to be around. I thought we had great preparation going in. We played Wake Forest, who was the ACC champion that year, playing my good friend Skipper. We had a chance to win the game right at the end. It was a great basketball game. We were down in Tampa, but we just came up. I think we lost by a few points, but I know Timmy had he took a 3 from the corner. I thought he could have drove it and tied it and missed it, and then we had to foul him.